What's up everybody, Noble Airsoft here, and today guys, get excited because it's Q&A Monday. Wait, what? What? You're joking, right? Okay, just in. It's not Q&A Monday, it's Q&A Friday. Everyone get your party hats and your snacks. This is exciting. There's going to be 2 Q&A videos this week because our wonderful executive question producer and Havasis has written us an entire list of questions to answer to help all of you viewers out while you're out in the field. So he wrote us this giant list here, which I'm going to read off in a minute here. So we're just going to answer the first half of the list this time, and the second half we're going to answer in another video, which is also going up this week. I know that's kind of crazy, 2 videos in 1 week. You're like, dude, you're pushing it. 2 videos in 1 week? That's crazy. But don't worry guys, I'm not going crazy. I'm trying to ramp up the videos for you guys. Like maybe, if I feel lucky, even 3 videos in 1 week. Wouldn't that be crazy? So anyways, let's just start reading the questions, because I know that's what all of you are here for. It's Q&A. You guys gave me the Q's. I'll give you the A's right now. So here we go. First question is, the answer to your question is a big fat no. But I have a good reason behind it. So a lot of times you see the engineers carries the PDWs, little short guns. You see them wearing a lot of light gear, and that's what I do when I do sniper rifle stuff. I usually just wear a t-shirt and a backpack and I'm off. I don't wear very much when I go sniping. So no, ghillie suit's not really for me, but I know a lot of other people like it. Actually, I have gone airsofting in the snow, and it's really, really fun if you have clothes. If you don't have clothes to go airsofting in the snow, it's not very fun because you get cold, trust me. I've learned from experience. And if you have really cheap plastic guns, they break too. My first gun was the gun that you see in all of the gameplay videos that I send out to you guys. It's the CYMA AK-47S, I think. I'm not exactly sure the whole name on it, but that AK that you see in those videos is the first gun that I got. Well, the actual good gun. The first airsoft gun I ever got, though, was this little thing right here. Everyone has to start somewhere. This is where I started. This right here is a Crossman R71, I believe. Yep, R71. I think it shoots like 200 FPS, maybe 250 with .2s. And this is the battery right here. And you had a big scope that went on this, which was just a see-through. It wasn't actually a scope, it was just like a little plastic thing. And your BBs actually started from the top and worked their way in from the top. This thing's sketchy, but this was the first one I had, and I never actually played a game with it. I realized that I was going to need something better, so I went out and got a CYMA shotgun, and that thing served me well for a little bit until I got the AK that I have now. So the best way to zero a sight, I've done this a lot, and I've spent a lot of time on it, but for me I think it's just setting up at 3 different ranges. You want a short range, a long range, and a mid range. And what you're going to do, because your BBs tend to fly off in one direction, so when you're shooting at a close range, you can have your sight zeroed perfectly, and then you move it back about 60 feet and you're going to be shooting way to the right. So that's what happens with me. I think the best way to zero it is at your local field, try to guess what the average engagement distance is, and then at home distance yourself from your target at that point, and then zero your sight in from there. And that should get you a lot more hits when you're out at your field. My local store actually didn't open but a couple months ago, like last winter I think it opened, and it's a pretty nice store, I gotta say. They got a lot of nice stuff in there. The only thing is, I have a tiny budget for Airsoft, which it might not seem like that, because you guys have seen the stuff that I have, but my budget for Airsoft is so small. And so I don't really get to purchase that much stuff, but I have purchased a couple, I purchased little things from my local store, like holsters and BBs, stuff like that. So I like the little stuff. I don't buy guns from there. I haven't really needed to buy guns since I've got my last one. But if I did, I mean, I think your local store is the best way to go, so I support my store a pretty good bit, but not like I don't go over there every week and buy some massive purchase. This is a tough one. Let's think. Okay, so if you watch my gameplay videos, put a link to this because I thought it was pretty funny. There were actually, well, no. Okay, I know mine probably, I don't know if it was the best, but I thought it was really cool. So, I was at my local field, Cedar Creek Airsoft, and I was playing a 2v2 small game, and I was in this cabin, and there was a dude way out, like, I'm gonna say 250 feet away. He was like way out there. I adjusted my hop up on the scene, guessed how far it would went, and ended up shooting one shot, and it arced perfectly and hit him. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever that I ever did in Airsoft. And it was just hilarious to me that I hit him. And that was probably, I think, my best moment that I can remember. Is a drum mag useful? I'm getting a lot of questions now, so I'm going to start answering these a little bit shorter. I don't think they're useful unless you get a auto winding one, and then if you have an LMG, then it's kind of useful, but for anything else, I don't think you're good going with a drum mag. They're really heavy. I think you should just go get yourself a high cap mag or two, and then just go out there and use those. I think they're a lot better option. How long have I been playing Airsoft? Well, I started playing, I played my first game, I think, when I was 12 maybe? So it's been a little bit. I mean, we were playing with like stuff like this right here, the little plastic cheap guns that shoot really slow. That's when I first started playing, and then I realized, hey, I kind of like this and I'm kind of good at it too. So I started getting a little bit more into it, and now I'm at the point where I am now, where I know a pretty good bit about the sport, and I think I'm a little bit better than your average player, and I'm not going to be too cocky, so I'll just stop answering this one. How was I introduced to Airsoft? Well, let's see. Me and my friends went out to his land that was in the middle of nowhere, and it was just woods as far as you could see. It was just like pretty heavily wooded. It was perfect for Airsoft. He had a four-wheeler, so he played some cool objective game types with that. And I had my, he borrowed me one of his cheap guns, and we just kind of played around with that, and that's how I was introduced. And from that moment on, I just fell in love with the sport. I was like, this is the thing that I want to start doing. So that's how I was introduced to Airsoft. So my dream gun, I think, obviously I'm American, so the M4 is something we have to go for, except I don't want the generic M4 that everyone gets. I want, if I get a gun in the future, it's going to be customized as much as I can make it. I'm going to try to make it look really different from others, and I think one of the best ways to do that is, there's a gun called an AR-57, and it's a P90 and an M4 combined, which are my two favorite guns, and I think that thing's really cool. So I think that's probably my dream gun, would be an AR-57, just fully customized to what I would like it. And then, the most heavy question for last on the show, so I can depress you all before you leave. Polar stars are not something that people like to talk about, especially if you were the owner of a polar star. this is what you're going to hear from almost everybody. It's the person, not the gun. Polar Stars are awesome. They're like almost the closest thing you can get to the real thing. The trigger response is amazing. You know, you can tune it exactly to what the real gun does, except that's the problem. Most people with the Polar Stars, they don't adjust it to what the real gun does. They adjust it to something crazy like 30 rounds a second. And that's something I really, really dislike in Airsoft. So, this is just a warning. All of you Polar Star users out there, if you run your gun at an incredibly high FPS and you're cheating the system by doing that, I'm not going to get into all how that works. If you want to see that, here's a link to Airsoftology, and he explains all of that way better than I will, because I'm not even going to do it at all. But if you're someone that cheats the FPS limits by using different cram BBs, if you jack the rate of fire up and you just use it in any way that makes it completely unfair to everyone else on the field, just don't do it. Polar Stars are awesome, right? They're so reliable and everything. It's the player that makes it unfair. It's not the gun. So, anyone who uses a Polar Star out there, keep that in mind. Don't make it unfair for the other team. Just try to keep it to where the other players' levels, guns are at, and that will make it so much more fun for everyone. So, now that I've depressed you all, and now that you have to leave, because that's the end of the questions for today, you guys get the opportunity to put happy questions down in the comment section, so that way, when we get the next video out, we can start answering those questions. So make sure you leave your questions down in the comment section, and that'll be a fun time. So everyone, remember, Airsoft is a sport, not a game. I'll see you guys next time.